can take more, I told him. These will do, for now, he replied, suggestively. I gave a nervous laugh and skipped away before it got weirder. Later that night, as I tried to pass excruciating boredom, I began to hear creaking noises around the barn. I didn't think much of it, old barns tend to squeak, but the noise persisted as I tried to sleep. Eventually though, I managed to drift off. That was until I heard the unmistakable sound of the front door slamming shut. I instantly thought of my neighbor. Country girls are tougher than they look, and not a chance in hell was I gonna feel threatened in my own home by that creep. I reached for the baseball bat beside my bed and stormed to the door, grabbing the handle. I pulled, but it was locked. It was a solid door with a pretty hefty lock, so no one was getting in without a key. Coming to my senses, I laughed and went back to bed. Morning rose and hunger set in. I slumped down to the kitchen and brewed some coffee as I started to prepare breakfast. I reached into the basket for 2 eggs, and as I cracked one into the pan, I came to a haunting realization: the basket was empty. I took 6 eggs at collection yesterday. My neighbor took 2, so there should be 2 left. My legs shook, both through fear and adrenaline. The authorities wouldn't be able to make it through the flood, so I'd have to take measure into my own hands. I left the barn and stormed up the path towards the farmhouse. I stepped up onto the porch, and before I had the chance to knock, I slipped, falling flat onto the wood. I tried to push myself up, but slipped again from the thick liquid that pooled beneath me. Holding my hand towards my face, I saw red. It was blood. I resisted the urge to scream. Burying my mouth into my bicep, I began to inch back, tiptoeing to try not to make a sound. Looking around, I saw the blood trailing over to the chicken coop. I looked up to the heavens, praying for strength before advancing towards the hutch. There, piled up with their heads cut off, the chickens had all been killed. Thanks for the eggs. A familiar unsettling voice croaked from behind me. I slowly turned to see my neighbor in his usual spot, casually leaning against the doorframe, coffee in hand. There was no need to hold in my scream anymore. I let out a distressing shriek, causing him to drop his mug. With the distraction, I ran. He followed after me. I got to the barn and closed the door, bolting it shut behind me. I felt another wave of fear as it hit me. He'd been in the barn before, and he managed to get into the coop without breaking it. He must have had a key. I ran up to my room and retrieved my bat and my phone as my neighbor pounded on the door, as relentless as my heartbeat. I called my mom.